up, guys, and welcome back to another episode here on the Sofo Soccer channel. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be talking more Euros action and Copa American action that happened over the weekend. So I have yet to do a Copa America video because there has just been so many games. There has been just so much going on that it's very, very difficult to do. Especially all in different videos and editing everything all together. But today I'm going to talk briefly and go over the results that happened over the weekend. And yeah, let's just talk football. So I am recording this on Monday. This weekend has been pretty hectic in terms of content. At least yesterday was. I couldn't record the video yesterday. But these are the games that happened yesterday. Scotland versus Hungary and Switzerland versus Germany. So the Euros, it is the last game of the group stage. Starting off with the Scotland and Hungary game, Hungary somehow were able to walk away with all 3 points after scoring in the 100th minute of the game. I mean, I definitely thought Hungary should have won the game. I thought they had a lot more opportunities in front of net, but I think overall it was a pretty even game, so I thought a 0-0 tie would have maybe been justice to the performances for both teams. But yeah, this is what the table looks like now for Group A. Hungary actually get their first win in the tournament since 2016, which is very historical, and Scotland go another tournament without getting a win. I think in like half of the Euro competitions that they've been in, they haven't won any of their games. Yeah, this was Scotland's 12th major tournament group stage, and in the 50% of those, they have failed to win a single match in 54, 58, 86, and 98 World Cups and Euro 2020 and 2024. So this is not even just Euros, but this is just international tournaments in general. So this is their 12th tournament. 6 of them, they have failed to win a single game. So it's very disappointing for Scotland not being able to get a result. And ultimately, in my Euro predictions video, I got this group correct with Germany first, Switzerland second, Hungary third, and Scotland in 4th place. So, I mean, that's good for me on predictions, I guess. But yeah, unfortunate for Scotland. Congratulations to Hungary, who can potentially go through on a 3rd place spot. 4 3rd place teams will go through to the next round. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, let's move on to the next game. Next game is Switzerland versus Germany, where Füllkrug tied it in the 92nd minute of the game. Again, it would have been, I mean, Germany are already through to the next round, right? Being in 1st place, but somehow they almost lost to Switzerland. I mean, these were the lineups. It's like essentially their starting lineup. Nothing essentially is different about it. The only difference would be Toni Kroos here starting in the game and not instead of Emre Can, I believe. Toni Kroos has also broken the record for the most completed passes in a Euro group stage game, 324 passes. He's honestly a legend, an absolute stud. And yeah, I really thought Switzerland were going to actually walk away with 3 points. And with that win, they actually would have finished top of the group, which would have been very interesting. This is a crazy statistic too. Though Switzerland were roux in their late concession, they are now unbeaten in their last 4 meetings with Germany, a promising sign as the last 16 awaits. So that gives a lot of motivation and I guess hope for Switzerland for doing well in the round 16, maybe. I definitely see them competing or at least putting a good performance out there. Getting the result though, I'm not too sure. We'll just have to see what happens. But that's going to be the end of the Euros for Sunday. Let's move on to the Copa America games that happened over the weekend. These were the results that happened. We already talked about Argentina versus Canada on my podcast, Selección Central. If you want to check that out, then feel free to do so. Peru versus Chile, well, honestly, was a pretty even game. I'm not going to go through it too in depth, but I think Chile probably could have got the win here, and they ended up not doing so. I thought their attack, like Alexis Sanchez and Vargas, could have done a lot better. This is probably a way better result for Peru than it is for Chile, and this is how the Group A standings look like after every team has played a game, with Argentina up top, Chile second, Peru third, Canada fourth. A lot of people probably had Canada to finish second or third, with maybe with Chile above them, but I had them finishing in second. I honestly think that Canada will beat Peru and Chile. They do have Peru next, and I 100% see them winning that game. So we'll see how that turns out. Next, we have, I think, probably the biggest game that's happened this weekend is Ecuador versus Venezuela. They took the lead in the 40th. They were down a man. 2 substitutes won the whole game for Venezuela. They got the red card way before they scored that goal, by the way. And these were the substitutes, Edward Bello and Jander Cadiz. This is a huge victory for Venezuela. Ecuador are considered like a dark horse in this tournament, being probably the best Ecuadorian team that we've seen in a while. And they honestly didn't perform that bad in front of Argentina when they did play that friendly. But in this game, in my opinion, they did not play good at all. Like, statistically speaking, like, Venezuela were all over them in shots and possession, opportunities in front of the net. Like, even just looking at the shot map right here, if I move away, I move back over here to the right side, you'll see the shot map. Just look at all those attempts in front of goal for Venezuela in the red. But yeah, an absolute huge congratulations to Venezuela, to all the Venezuelans out there. This is a big win for you guys and an important win in your group stage run with Mexico and Jamaica. And speaking of Mexico and Jamaica, let's talk about that game too. So Mexico managed to get the 1-0 win over Jamaica in the 69th minute thanks to Ortega. And in my personal opinion, I think Jamaica should have got a result out of this game, at least a tie. This is how both teams lined up. Jamaica putting a 3-4-3 out there, and it kind of felt that way. They would switch to like a 5 at the back, I think, like on defense. Their goalkeeper did really well, making a lot of saves. 8 saves in total the entire game, so very good game from Jamali Wade. I thought the front three were absolutely gone, like they just didn't show up in that game. Mikel Antonio and Damari Gray, I feel like being the two players that didn't show up the most, I guess, if that's even how you say it. I feel like they could have done a lot more, considering them being the most known in the team and probably the best in the team. Mexico could have done a lot better, in my opinion, also, like switching over to them. I mean, I thought defensively they were able to stop Jamaica from actually scoring, because Jamaica could have scored. They could have had at least one goal on the board that night, and they ended up preventing that from happening. So defensively, I guess from both teams, it was pretty solid. Their captain, Edson Alvarez from West Ham United, did unfortunately get an injury off ball. As you guys know, the field conditions have been pretty poor, or at least a lot of players have been complaining about them this year, with a lot of the fields being just made of turf and not a lot of them being made of grass. This is a list of the fields around the United States with turf surfaces and as well as grass surfaces. And for those playing on turf, those playing in the stadiums with turf surfaces, the stadium, what they would do is lay out like a piece of fake grass over the turf to make it, I guess, somewhat better. But it's very choppy, it breaks very easily, and that's what a lot of the complaints come from. They're saying, the players saying that it's very low quality, that it's very bouncy. The pitch just completely tears apart when you run on it. So there's been, and it's honestly a very serious health and safety issue for the players, because injuries like this, from what Alvarez has suffered, is suffered in that way. Probably turned or stepped the wrong way right on top of the fake grass. And it's honestly something that is out of our control as fans. I mean, like, the USA have to do a lot better when it comes to that sort of thing. Either just don't play on turf surfaces, or I don't know, just play somewhere else. It's very concerning. It's very frustrating as an American, somebody who lives in the United States, born and raised in the United States, and is a football soccer fan. It's very frustrating to see this type of thing happening in our country, because of the fact that even though like a lot of people could say, oh, they're professionals, they can suck it up, they can play on any turf. It's just not how that works, honestly. I mean, soccer is supposed to be played on grass. Turf fields are for American football, and this is obviously not American football, and it's just a whole different environment, a whole different thing. Players running for 90 minutes straight, and it's just not ideal. It's not safe, and something needs to be done about it. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, even if that means like switching to some MLS stadiums, some MLS built stadiums do just play on grass. Like in Orlando City's stadium, they have grass. And yeah, it's a lower capacity than compared to an 80,000 seat arena, but grass is grass. So I'd rather play in a 30,000 seat stadium with grass, with actual grass, than in an 80,000 seat arena and play turf with like fake grass over it. But that's just my take. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But just to wrap it up with how the group looks after one game, this is how it looks with Venezuela on top, Mexico second, Ecuador third, and Jamaica fourth. We'll just have to see how Venezuela does, and to see if they can keep it up, especially in their game against Mexico. I think that's going to be a very tough game for them. But they were the underdogs against Ecuador, and I think they could honestly pull it off against Mexico. Ecuador is going to play Jamaica, and honestly, Ecuador could probably, I could see Ecuador either lose or tie this game. I think Jamaica could definitely give them a serious battle, but that's going to be a very interesting game for the second game in Group B. Let me know if there were any surprises from this group that you didn't expect in the comments down below. And moving on to the last group, Group C, we have USA versus Bolivia as the first game. USA get a win against a, no offense to Bolivia, but a very weak Bolivia side. This is apparently USA's first Copa triumph over Bolivia in their second attempt, avenging a 1-0 defeat way back in 1995 when Marco Echeverri scored the winner. So that's very interesting. And Bolivia have now lost their last 4 international outings by a concerning margin of 9-1, having suffering defeats against Mexico, Ecuador, Colombia, and USA. So obviously this is a very concerning Bolivia team, and if the US couldn't perform than these guys, then they had no hope in the Copa America. But they did get the victory, a very routine victory. Pulisic getting a goal and an assist assisting Balogun, which was a very nice goal from him. Pulisic being one of the best players in Serie A right now, one of the best players in Milan. He's absolutely tearing up the Serie A. So it's good to see him in form, scoring, getting assists, getting goal contributions for the USA national team. We've definitely seen the United States perform well in these last two games, coming off the friendly against Brazil, even though they've got smacked by Colombia 5-1. They really got that comeback performance against Brazil, and now they got a win against Bolivia, which I feel like it's been a while since we've seen them win a game. And for the last game of the day, we have Uruguay versus Panama, 3-1, a very easy victory for Uruguay, and this was at the Hard Rock Stadium here in Miami. All the action essentially happened in the dying minutes of the game. Araujo opening up the scoring in the 16th minute, and then nothing happened until the 85th, where Nunez scored the second of the game. Then it was 3-0, and then Murillo for Panama got the 94th minute goal. This is how both teams lined up. This is a very strong Uruguay side, but honestly, I feel like they could have scored way more earlier on in the game against this Panama side. Panama is not really a bad team. I mean, obviously compared to Uruguay, it's, you know, kind of night and day. But in CONCACAF, they are pretty solid. They're not really the worst team in CONCACAF. They're not the worst team in CONCACAF. Darwin Nunez scored a goal. I feel like I haven't seen that in a while. Araujo did come off injured here in the 46th minute of the game, so early on in the second half, with Nicolas de la Cruz coming on in the 60th, getting that assist as well. I mean, even off the bench with Jose Jimenez, Cáceres, de la Cruz, and Bentancur, Bielsa has a lot of good players on his hands. And like I said in my preview and my predictions video for the Copa America, that Uruguay is a very strong favorite for this team and are looking pretty good. So this is how the table looks for Group C after one game, with Uruguay first, USA second, Panama third, and Bolivia fourth. Honestly, this is how I predicted the final standings would be after all three games were played. We'll see if that's true after the two games. But yeah, guys, that's going to be the end of this weekend recap for the Euros and Copa America. I'm very, very sorry that I couldn't post it yesterday. I definitely would have separated the videos, but it's a lot of content that I'm trying to produce at one time, trying to balance everything else as well. So I appreciate your patience and understanding and your support on this video and on this channel. If you have enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below and subscribe to the SoFo Soccer channel. If you are new, make sure you turn on your notification bell so you don't miss an upload. I will be uploading every day, covering both the Euros and the Copa America. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.